the world in the coffin world have got their own strategies. Now, a technology sector would be very different from a defense sector, would be very different from an energy sector or industrial sector, would be very different from a retail sector, would be very different from a biotech sector. So each of these sectors have their own behavior. Now, the point which is important to us here is how their multiple are behaving. So the multiple of each of these sector have got different aspects to it. So when you see in the current boom, the multiple of the technology companies is booming. The multiple of probably the defense industrial companies, they are going, but they are not going as fast as the multiple of the technology companies. So in that aspect, your advice to different sector and the companies in these sector would depend on which sector you are tracking. So there are some companies who want to invest the money, who are small like biotech companies. So they would tell that I don't want to do the repo, I would probably invest that money into research. So you have to make sure that you take those variables into account. For a technology company that is mature, that is on excess cash, the research are going fine, those would probably go into and do the share repurchase. For the companies of industrials, you need to do a lot of things. So one innovation that you can do is that you can find out how their multiple is behaving by the crude oil prices or any inputs or the energy prices in that regard, and you can say that okay, this is your multiple, this is how things are behaving, and this is what you can do. So what to do with the excess cash, whether to return it, do repo, do dividend, do merger acquisition, or do some research activity, that becomes very important part. And R&D is one part where you have those people who would advise them on the R&D and how they can use the company. But there are many assumptions that would go. So ultimately our point for all of these sectors would be total return, or what is the total or the final return, or the return encompassing everything, which is the dividend, the share repurchase. So you have to make sure that that total return become maximum. So when we look at different companies, if you see the companies in defense, they are not doing so good, as I've been talking about. There are other sectors like biotech sectors, the company there are small, so you might see a negative sales going there. Same in defense companies, you might see a negative sales going there, which is not there in the technology company. So you need to make sure that you don't compare, and the selection of peers among these sectors are right, so that your analysis is stable. So the sector that you choose also plays a very important role in your analysis.